welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Elma. We're going to be going through my Game17 free hit draft. So if you're on a free hit, I think you've come to the right place and you've picked the right video as well, because it's going to be the best free hit draft out there. But before we get into it, I'd like to thank you all guys for the continued support on the channel. Finally managed to hit 900 subscribers, and the next goal is going to be that coveted 1,000. And if you're new around here, or you're a regular viewer and subscribe, make sure you hit that sub button, make sure you leave a like, make sure you hit that bell, miss any content going up on the channel. Also leave a comment whether you're going to be using your free hit draft or any other chip ahead of Game 17. And before wasting any much time, let's get straight into it. So first we're going to start off with the defenders and the goalkeeping department. And the first player is going to be Kelleher from Brentford playing against Wolves, although they didn't have the best of matches in game week 16 when they played Leeds, I still think they have a very decent fixture in game 17, and I'm sure they're going to put their best there to be able to keep a clean sheet against Wolves team who haven't scored a lot of goals this season. Although they did look very good against Arsenal, at still back Brentford able to keep a clean sheet, and that's why I've gone for Kelleher in there. Of course, there's a chance of going for David Raya, but I didn't want to double up on defenders in this free hit. That's why I've gone for Kelleher in there. Then you have Dubravka, just a cheap option on a free hit. You don't really care how the bench is going to be looking like. Hence why Dubravka is in there. Then the next player is going to be Richards against Leeds. Just hoping for a clean sheet in there. Although Calvert-Lewin has been in very, very high form, and but Crystal Palace have been the best defensive team in the league despite the game against Marseille. They conceded 3 goals. They haven't conceded a lot of goals this season, so I had high chance of a clean sheet in that fixture against Leeds. The next player is Senesi against Burnley. Although Bournemouth have been looking very shaky in a couple of games, especially defensively, I still expect them to be able to have a high chance of giving a clean sheet against Burnley, who have scored a lot of goals in the past few games. They're not been being whitewashed when they are there this league. Put out a fight and able to score some few goals here and there. But against Bournemouth, there's a high chance of a clean sheet. As I've gone for Senesi in there. If you think Senesi is too expensive, I think Trufe is also a very, very decent price. Then the next player is Timber from Arsenal playing against Everton. Everton looked very, very poor against Chelsea. I don't think they had a lot of chances, but they had a lot of chances at the end, but during the game, I think Chelsea looked pretty comfortable defensively against Everton. And against Arsenal, Everton are going to be missing out on Kevin Disbury Hall. They're also going to be missing out on potentially Grealish and also Ndiaye, who was going to the AFCON. So there's a high chance of keeping pace with no real attacking threat in that Everton team at the moment. Then we have O'Reilly against West Ham. West Ham have been looking good going forward. The last couple of games, but Man City have also been looking very sharp defensively. I think they've kept 3 clean sheets in a row, if I'm not wrong, maybe 2 clean sheets in a row. And O'Reilly has been very instrumental in that. And you see his average position in games is not always at the right back position or the left back position. He's always going up top. He's always in the box, always trying to get an assist or something. So yeah, I think O'Reilly is a decent option just not just for defensive points, but also attacking return. So I've gone for him from that Man City side. Then you have Rodon finishing off the team. That's the same as Dubravka, a budget option as well. Then we have other consideration. I've gone for Nathan Collins in there. I think that it's a toss up between Raya and having Collins, or just going for Kelleher and Timber. And I've just chosen the route for Kelleher and Timber instead of going for Raya and Collins, just because I mentioned I don't want to double up on the defense. But that's the team. That's the defense for the free hit draft. Looks pretty solid, full of goals, looks full of assists as well. If was to pick the 3 that I'd start in this team, I think I'd just go for Senesi, Timber, and O'Reilly. And with that, now let's look at the midfield. How the midfield is going to be looking like, going to be having Minte against Sunderland. Sunderland have been looking very good, but if you look at their recent form, just their form throughout the season, those will look better when they're playing in the Stadium of Light and looks very shaky when they're playing away. They're going to be playing Brighton, who look very good at home. So I think it will be a very interesting game, and I do hope that Minte is going to come out some attacking returns. I think he's blanked in the last 3 or 4 games. So hoping for a ton of returns in this fixture. Then we have Semenyo against Burnley. A very interesting game, this one. But I do think with Semenyo scoring against United, his form is going to be back a little bit. So I do hope that against Burnley, who are one of the poorest teams in the league, is going to come out some attacking returns for that confidence boost against United. Then we have Saka against Everton. I mean, Everton not looking very good defensively, but to be fair to them, they're going to be playing at home where they've looked very strong defensively. But I think that's where they conceded 4 goals to Newcastle a few weeks back. So hoping that Arsenal and co, especially Saka, can be involved in that, and just hoping we're going to get some attacking returns. Although his attacking returns were very, very lucky and some controversial as well in game 16. But it is what it is, and we hope that against Everton, something similar can happen, of course. Then you have Foden against West Ham, the man in form at the moment. I think he's on 7 GA in his last 5, double digits in his last 4 or 5 games. So I think for me, he's a must. Or even if you're not using a free hit, he's a must on definitely playing against West Ham, one of the poorest defensive teams in the league at the moment. So definitely make sure you have Phil Foden in there because he's on hot form at the moment. Then we have Shade against Wolves, rested in game 16 for some reason. But I do hope that for game 17 he can be able to start against that poor Wolves team. Utara is going off to AFCON, so I'm sure Shade is going to start, and that's why I've gone for him in there and hope he's going to be able to perform. Then for my other consideration, I've gone for Tavernier. He's on set pieces from that United game. You could say he was taking the corners, free kicks, and how Burnley are poor from set pieces. If you saw the game against Fulham, Wilson was just getting assists from set pieces, and that's why he got that massive, massive haul. So hoping that Tavernier can be able to replicate something like that. But for now, it's just in my um, other considerations. So unless you want differential pick, I think he's the main man for you. But I think for now, I'm going to stick with the 5 that I have in the pitch at the moment. So that's the midfield, looks full of goals, full of assists. Now let's look at the forward line. So that's how the forward line is looking like when we're having Haaland in there. I don't think you have to say much about Haaland if you don't have him in your team at this moment, unless you're not a Man City fan. I don't know why you should not go for Haaland in there because I think he's a must-have in FPL. Even if you don't support Man City, I think you just want to have Haaland in there because you know he's going to score a lot of goals, a lot of points in FPL, and I think I've said enough already, and his points speak for himself. And then we have Thiago against Wolves. Already he had a very poor game against Leeds the other day. I still think against Wolves there's a high chance of getting him attacking returns, and I think he's not a must-own, but I think he's a let's say is a must-have for Gameweek 17 because Wolves have been very poor defensively, and Thiago has been free scoring, and I do hope he's going to be able to perform. Then the last player on the team is going to be Mark Gui. That I've gone for him just as an enabler. Of course, I think it's around 4.2 million. I don't think we have had any cheaper striker compared to him in the last few when the last few years I've played FPL, and so definitely Mark Gui is in there. Then you have Evan Nilsson as my other consideration pick. Just playing against Burnley, who have been very poor defensively, as I mentioned countless times in this video. I think Evan Nilsson is a very, very good option as well. He's breaking his duck against United as every player does. And that maybe it's going to be a confidence boost for him against Burnley. So definitely one to consider out there. But I'm still happy with Haaland, Thiago, and Gui. So if I were to start a starting 11 from this team, I think I'll go for Senesi, Timber, O'Reilly. Then the midfield is going to be as the midfield, Minte, Semenyo, Saka, Foden, and Shade, then Haaland and Thiago up top. But for the defensive line, I think it's up to you to just pick the 3 that you like because I'm not so sure on some of them when it comes to starting 11, but I'm sure on them on the free hit draft. So with that, that's my free hit draft. Just put it let me know down in the comments what you think. And if you have any questions as well, you should put them down in the comments or DM me on my socials. Links are all down in the description. And with that, if you managed to reach this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll see you all guys later. Bye bye.